So Alan got back to me like the very same day at 9:35 at night with a 20-paragraph email explaining everything about the game. I won't read all of it. He spends like the first 4 or 5 paragraphs explaining more or less what the game is. When they came to me, they had quite a lot of the game designed, probably 2/3 of the puzzles designed, most of the mechanics, most of the visuals was there, and not very much changed in the game itself from when I came on. Now, that's been the case on pretty much every game I ever worked on. To be honest, most games, when I come on, they have a game already. I mean, actually, the project I'm on at the moment is kind of a crapshoot in terms of there was nothing at all existing when I came on. And that's great because everything's up for grabs. But also, it really helps to be able to sit down on day one and play a demo and see exactly what the game is. Then he goes on to the story, and I'll quote in full. He says, the last but very important piece still missing is the story. Of course, we didn't just come up with all this without how does this even fit in ever popping into our minds. Right from the start, we knew that we didn't want to compromise the gameplay or visuals. We're aware that the combination of all that we planned makes totally no sense in the real world. You're putting boxes on pressure plates and connecting energy beams through diamonds to open sci-fi doors in ancient Roman ruins to pick up Tetris pieces, and, I mean, I guess by now you think, can I have some of what you're smoking, right? And he says, so our idea from the start was to present this as a simulation that you are playing, kind of like VR. We would put some clues, like some objects rarely glitching visually, like bad holograms that would give out that what you see is not real. The point would be that at the end of the game, to reach the last level where you can see your real self sitting in a VR chair, and when you as an avatar turn off the simulation computer you wake up in your real self, stand up, and continue in the real world. We wanted to try playing the story on the what is reality card, but it didn't feel like that gives us enough space for nice story development, and didn't have much ideas on what you can talk about during the game. What we finally came up with is something we feel would work really well. Player would see himself as a robot, e.g. having robotic hands in first person, but due to the glitches it would be obvious that the whole thing itself is a simulation. You can figure out that the robot thing is probably just an avatar, and you will suppose you are in fact a human. But can you be sure? What we'd like to play on here would be an identity crisis. Am I a real live human being, or am I an AI programmed to think it's human? Kind of like the ponderings of some characters in Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. Also, what are you doing there? Possibly you're being tested by programmers that created you. And how do you get out of the simulation? Ultimately, obviously, by solving the puzzles. But then we can have weird things and recursive loops at the end of the game when you do. Now, in a world like this, it can be a bit hard to come up with means to convey the narrative to the player, but we think we got some rather usable ideas. Firstly, we would use graffiti-like writings on the walls around the game levels. Those writings could bring the feeling that others were playing this same thing before you. Were they your previous lives, other AIs, other people? They're perhaps in different stages of confusion and despair, and it can show in their writings. Second, we'd like to give you opportunity to chat with a person or persons through various computer terminals scattered around the game. You don't know who they are. They could sound like AIs or perhaps like people. Perhaps they are programmers who are testing you. Each such discussion would be kind of like a dialogue tree where you'd pick a line and the computer would reply and repeat that a few times until a small closure. We thought that it would be a good idea to pose those persons as psychoanalysts. Specifically, they would dodge your questions by asking counter-questions like psychologists do. And then he gives an example of some of that dialogue. It says, player, who am I? Terminal, who do you think you are? Player, I don't know. Am I a robot? Terminal, what makes you think you're a robot? Player, my hands are made of steel. Terminal, that's a compelling argument for that theory. And then he closes by saying, so the main point here is to entice the player to start an internal discussion and introspection in his mind about various things. Like, what defines a human? If an AI can think the same as a human, should that AI have the same rights as a human? Morality of treating sentient AIs like just computer programs, etc. We figure that in order to do something like that, it is crucial to have players say it himself. Just having the player's characters say it would not bring much emotion into it. But if we make it into a dialogue tree, where he has to choose which question to ask, then it is his own discussion and he cannot avoid participating emotionally. So that was Crow Team's big story plan that they pitched to me when I came on board. And For my thoughts on that, tune in to the next one.
I think that one of the most important aspects of game writing as a literary form is not interactivity, although that is foundational to how games work, but the fact that game writing is spatial, meaning it exists in three-dimensional space. So inside of a video game, text, meaning any kind of storytelling elements, text is spatially arranged. It's arranged in three-dimensional space. So, for example, a video game is the only art form where you can talk to a character and then you can check out their bookshelf and read what books they're reading. And the content can be really, that content can exist in this particular way because of interactivity. But it's not just about choice, which sometimes things get reduced to, but about the ability to arrange text in these unique ways. So that creates, for Talos Principle, what we kind of call an archaeological structure, meaning there are layers of story that the player can experience. Some of them you're guaranteed to experience, so mainly Elohim, you're always going to experience no matter how you play. But then there's quite a few layers of story that require digging on the player's part. So if you think of the QR codes and the terminals,
oh gosh, sorry about that. Square stopped the thing. Let me go back. I'll just stand here and skip to where it like stopped, so it doesn't like stop. So you probably don't hear me saying that.
So if you think of the QR codes and the terminals as nodes of story, essentially, that are spread throughout the game and they create a kind of web of information. And then Elohim is kind of a thread that follows you around because you can't avoid Elohim's story. And then there's Milton and Alexandra, who are two more kind of threads that form a continuous story, but they all kind of manifest differently inside the game space.
The guardians of this land may harm you, but do not resent them. For they are my servants, and they challenge you only so that your faith might be strengthened.
Not gonna lie, that scared me.
In the original game, we had a hinting system using the QR codes. So what player could do? Player could go to the messenger island, solve several Tetromino Rangers and unlock the messenger, free the messenger, and then later in some of the puzzles he would be able to call in the messenger. So he would write him down a QR code, like a bunch of text, several lines, that would try to, using the text, describe what player should be doing. So like, the textual hint that will help players to solve this puzzle. Well, in more than few occasions, it's really hard for us to write those texts because of the spatial nature of the puzzles that we, in those labyrinths, you need spatial awareness, how to where to position what to see some very specific angle and stuff like that. So that was extremely hard to describe using the words. And, just people were pretty dissatisfied with doing so much and, putting some significant effort into freeing the messenger, and then just getting some unhelpful hint that would actually not be helpful at all. So in the Reawakened, we switched to the free pass token, the system that we used in the Talos Principle 2, where you could exchange the token. You could find the tokens scattered around the puzzle clusters. Then you could exchange those tokens for the tetromino in the puzzle that you actually use it on the altar. So we were pretty certain that would be more beneficial, and in the original game, we had a hinting system using the QR codes. So what player could do? Player could go to the messenger island, solve several tetromino rangers and unlock the messenger, free the messenger, and then later in some of the puzzles he would be able to call in the messenger. So he would write him down a QR code, like a bunch of text, several lines, that would try to, using the text, describe what player should be doing. So like, the textual hint that would help players to solve this puzzle. Well, in more than few occasions it's really hard for us to write those texts because of the special nature of the puzzles that we in those labyrinths. You need special awareness, where to position what, to see some very specific angle and stuff like that. So in the original game, we had a hinting system using the QR codes. So what player could do? Player could go to the messenger island, solve several tetromino rangers and unlock the messenger, free the messenger, and then later in some of the puzzles he would be able to call in the messenger. So he would write him down a QR code, like a bunch of text, several lines, that would try to, using the text, describe what player should be doing. So like, the textual hint that will help players to solve this puzzle. Well, in more than few occasions it's really hard for us to write those texts because of the special nature of the puzzles that we in those labyrinths. You need special awareness, where to position what, to see some very specific angle and stuff like that. So that was extremely hard to describe using the words, and just people were pretty dissatisfied with doing so much and putting some significant effort into freeing the messenger, and then just getting some unhelpful hint that would actually not be helpful at all. So in the Reawakened, we switched to the free pass token, the system that we used in the Talos Principle 2, where you could exchange the token. You could find the tokens scattered around the puzzle clusters. Then you could exchange those tokens for the tetromino in the puzzle that you actually use it on the altar. So we were pretty certain that would be more beneficial and welcomed by the players, because it was really doing great for the Talos Principle too, and we didn't want the players to feel the frustration from the original game.
Hi, my name is Damian Mravunac, and I'm the composer and sound designer at Crow Team. What was it like working on the original Talos Principle? Previous to that game, we released many Serious Sam games. And those games featured very, very heavily rock-oriented and rhythmic-driven soundtrack, full of energy, beats, vibes. But for the Talos Principle, I wanted to do something completely different. I wanted players to have a very relaxing and very calm experience, which would not interfere with their thinking process. You know, the core gameplay of Talos Principle is solving puzzles. So you want to work with that. So one of my choices was to not have rhythmic parts drive the music this time. So basically I tried to avoid having heavily pronounced rhythms or loops or anything like that. It's not like I completely avoided having percussion, but even when I used percussions, which you can hear mostly in Egyptian themed levels, I use them more as sound effects. They pop up here and there just to set the mood. As for the melodic parts, they're not so prominent. You know, I always cherish very strong, prominent melody. I love to have some theme that you can whistle or sing to. But in Talos, I didn't want that. Because that way, when you don't have a prominent melody, the music can be played more often than usual. You know, without fear of players being annoyed, you know, or they needing to turn down the music because it loops constantly. So it's also a little bit of a trick to give your tracks more mileage. And one thing I also try to do is to avoid quantizing. So what is quantizing music? It means moving notes once you play an input notes, moving those notes to the predefined places on a grid. And this grid is made of bars and beats, which are musical terms. So by avoiding this quantization, the music just felt more humane, and like it was really played live and not entered on a computer, which is how we composers compose music these days.
first, we just, oh, this is so slow. Why is it so slow? I'm doing it wrong already. How am I doing this? This, and this, and this. Not that. Oh, the new so good.
There is much that you may learn in the halls of my temples, for there is much that you do not know. That is why you are a child. But children are made to learn, and in time they come to have dominion over the lands of their home. So it shall be with you and your generations.
So it shall be. Let's go. Let's see.
Long ago, I shaped these lands according to the purpose of the hidden words. Thus all things have meaning, where before was only chaos. Know that, and have faith.
Okay, from Nadia Sarabai to Ian. Wait a minute, Sarabai? That's from Talos 2. Anyways, subject progress report 1. File. Everything's been moved to the L facility. I know it's been sad to leave the good old Jeff building behind, but it makes sense for us to be on site, especially as there may be severe power outages in the coming weeks. Arcadi's team are already working, but you really don't need to worry about the teams getting in each other's way. The facility is genuinely humongous. Humongous? Let's get this show on the road. Gotcha. I think Arkady Chernyshevsky? Chernyshevsky or something like that. Arkady, I'll keep this short. You all know me, so you know that I know what I'm talking about. I realize that you're all working on projects meant to somehow avert find a solution. I believe that we'll preserve the non-biological comments in terms close beginnings. Stratton of Stagiria on beginnings fragment. It is the grave error of many philosophers, not only of the Athenian schools but also of many others, that they begin not with observation of the cosmos as it surrounds us, but with a conclusion already in mind, and often that conclusion is that the world was created ideal and mankind itself the greatest creation of the gods. Yet neither the world nor the gods owe mankind perfection. It is arrogance itself to believe them so, and contrary to all the methods of philosophy. The honest philosopher seeks only the truth, even if it bears no comfort, and he must begin by assuming, as Socrates said, that all he knows is that he knows nothing. You know nothing. Get a reference. I guess that's all. Let's listen to some commentary. But first, this just quick thing I have to do.
Behold, I am Elohim, and I speak unto the darkness, be gone. Excess data cleared.
Alright, sorry about that. Just had to, anyways, let's hear it.
The terminals in the game play a crucial role in storytelling. They serve as a vehicle for the story. So it was very important for us to, encourage players to interact with the terminals and try to dig some hidden narrative treasures there. We wanted to signal, whether the terminal's content has been fully explored or there is something new, and we needed a clear visual and audio cue for that. We achieved this with assigning almost irritating audio prompt and the ASCII animation of the blinking eye. So during one particularly creative night shift, I recorded a close-up of my eye blinking in a movie and extracted several frames, processed them in Photoshop, converted them from the pixel art to ASCII, so it would be, appropriate to the style of the terminal. And this ended up to a so-called Milton Eye. That animation became almost an iconic symbol for the game, and even made its way onto the back of our Talos Principle t-shirts.
Funny. Alright, yeah, so now we know the commentary does play through the rewind animation, which I'm glad they kept in, because that was like something I was concerned about in the demo. Anyways, it's cool hearing them talk about all this, because it's like, it's such a huge part of this game, and it's obviously just so great to hear, like, how it actually came to be. So climbing this is much easier now. So, okay, I'm going to do that. I think it's over here. I can never find this. I'll try to find it now and maybe skip if I don't find it, but it should be from here. Like a little bench. Stuff. I wonder if they put in new instruments. No idea. I don't remember if it's. I think it's maybe over there, or. Okay, let's listen to more commentary while I search for this, but let's hope that I can find it. So, here we go.
During early stages of development, when Talos Principle project was still uncertain, only a few team members were aware of the mechanics we were implementing and how they worked. Most of the team was in dark, which provided us with the perfect opportunity to use them as ideal test subjects. At that time, we designed very simple introductory puzzles for testers to solve without providing any instructions on how the tools worked and what they could do. We silently observed the testers, carefully noting their reactions. It was clear that they really enjoyed figuring out how the new mechanics worked. The process of learning and experimenting proved to be both fun and rewarding, leading to a greater sense of accomplishment. Encouraged by this feedback, we decided not to include any tutorials in the final game. Instead, learning and experimenting became an integral part of the gameplay, allowing players to discover and learn without unnecessary hand-holding.
I would have loved to be I would have loved to have been a playtester for this game, like, that would have been so cool. I mean, heck, even Talos Principle 2 would have been amazing to playtest that. Heck, playtesting any cartoon game. No! That would be awesome. But it's probably never gonna happen. Few reasons, because I'm not in Croatia. Well, I could probably do them online, but if I could actually work on something from cartoon, but since that happened also is that I'm a game developer, but Yeah, I still need to up my skills, you know. I'm still more gamer than a game developer. But yeah, this is one of the Easter eggs. It's not the one I was searching for, but okay. But also, I hope there's Easter eggs in this. It would be really cool. Yeah, these are all puzzles. It's cool. Like once the developer contest was literally them like making new puzzles, but they never implemented them. Which is sad. Well, they did it, kind of, but it's not puzzles, you know. But I get like they didn't want to like overdo it, you know. Which honestly, I really don't care. Like if they did ever do it, I would still play the heck out of it. But yeah, but I'm wondering, are some Easter eggs just not in the game anymore? Because I tried to search in the last area, like the beach. There was a message in a bottle on two sides. And one side I searched, I couldn't find the bottle anywhere. I searched everywhere, there was no bottle. So I wonder if it was taken out for some reason. I don't see why taken out. Now I feel the same with this one. There's supposed to be like a tiny ledge you can drop onto. It would show you a literal Easter egg. But I don't know where it is. Like I always forget where it is. I'm falling. It's cool that you can like choose the time of what can rewind. You know, it's so fun. Because then you don't have to like rewind everything and then the puzzles reset like all the time, you know. But maybe they actually changed where the locations are for the Easter eggs. Well, the one message in the bottle was in the same place that it always was. So I'm not sure why some of these are not showing up for me. Maybe it's like not added yet. Maybe it's gonna be like an update that's to be added. I have no idea. Also, you can notice I sound better because like this is basically like technically a week later. Well, I haven't uploaded. Wait, no. Yeah, I haven't uploaded anything, so this is probably just. Yeah, the game's been out a while. I had it since it came out, but I haven't played it a lot. At all. Because I was playing like such and things like that, which I'm not sure if I continue with videos on that, but. But hopefully, but with these, I'm gonna bring the videos out. I just have to get to editing that. It's hard because like I do travel to work, so it's like. Oop. But anyways, what does this say? Okay, also, if you scan this QR code yourself, you'll see that it's like the exact same text that you see on the game. But if anyone ever reads this, the trick is seeing the assumptions you're making about the mechanics and reassessing them. Good luck! Wait a minute. Did I add in a feature where if you get a paint bucket you can write your own message? You know, I've never found a paint bucket in this area. I don't even know if it's available in this area. Cool, I can't find it though. Cool if my messages can get drawn over to other people. That would be amazing. Yeah, that Easter eggs, it's like on the ledge somewhere. It's not over there. I checked that, but yeah, it's supposed to be somewhere like just down on the ledge. But everything changed. I see like the rocks and things changed and things like that. So it's still the same area, it's just some things are different, so maybe they did change the locations. Because I know the Easter egg is somewhere on the cliff side, so I'm probably just looking in the wrong place. But anyways, let's get another developer commentary going while we solve some puzzles. So there's one there. One puzzle. Any hidden ones? I'll have to check. I may miss a few of them occasionally because there's something, yeah, let's get this one first, and when I come out, I'll get this one. Yeah, let's do it.
We never really wanted to tell you how to use any of the mechanics. We wanted to skip the tutorials as much as possible, because they rob you of the discovery and exploration of the mechanics. The puzzles are tutorials, and they slowly teach you what is possible.
Well, never mind, that was very short. Stars. Settle down, Nemesis. It is Nemesis, right? Yes. I have to relearn freaking controls, so it's fine. What? 13. 13. Did you take away my lasers? Or is this a glitch? You took away my lasers? What? What? No, the lasers are just screwed. Where's my lasers? Bro. They're sitting and turned on. Got a trophy, make connections. I didn't see a connection. What's going on? Wait. Whoa. Gameplay. First person. Speed. Rewind time. Try quality. What? It's available on quality? But not in the performance? What? Cody, what the hell is this? Explain yourselves now. Wait, let me see before I make accusations. Turn back to performance. Yeah, it's still in performance. What? Okay, I think that was a glitch. Alright, 13. You win this time. No, you didn't. Did you still fix it? I don't know why that happened. I mean, it's cool. There's no lasers, like it's like just taking the thing and the thing. But you know... Yeah. Oh, yeah. Why are you still connected? Oh yeah, the foreign freaking mechanic of like PC, like pressing the one button and like keeps the connections, which is cool because this game doesn't have it. But yeah. Anyways, next comment. I thought they stood still on you. Alright then.
So one of the reasons that the game is structured in the particular way that it is because what we're aiming to create is a form of dialectical storytelling. So I've talked in a previous recording, you may or may not have heard about nodes and webs and threads, and this is the way in which the information, the story content, is really distributed throughout the world of the game in kind of small chunks and structures. And what that accomplishes is that all of these kind of interact with each other in the player's mind. So they all have connections, thematic, philosophical, and so on. And some of these are connections where they reinforce each other, and in some ways they also challenge each other or undermine each other. It's not so much that it's like a black and white pro and con. They kind of exist at an angle to each other that forces you to arrange them in your head and think about how these things fit together. And you as the player then have to think, and you have to accept some and reject others and kind of try to arrange them in your head in a way that makes sense. And ultimately, you should synthesize your own set of beliefs out of these. And that is something that is uniquely possible in the video game medium, because it allows us to structure information in three-dimensional space in this particular way, and it's not linear as a novel would be, for example.
That is true. Games can do a lot of things. Like a la la. Like a la 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 la. La 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 la. Some might say. Yeah, I don't know if that Easter egg is still here. Just know it was like off to the side. Side what? No. Anyways, let's listen to Alexandra.
The answer that came to me again and again was play. Every human society in recorded history has games. We don't just solve problems out of necessity. We do it for fun. Even as adults. Leave a human being alone with a knotted rope, and they will unravel it. Leave a human being alone with blocks, and they will build something. Games are part of what makes us human. We see the world as a mystery, a puzzle, because we've always been a species of problem solvers.
Maybe not. Maybe so. I couldn't think of another word. Anyways, commentary. Let's go.
Alexandra Drennan, the scientist that invented the simulation you're playing, is actually one of my favorite characters in the Talos Principle saga. And her recordings are very important for the story. And I wanted these recordings to feel glitched and warped, as if some sort of data loss or degradation had occurred through time. And I also wanted them to sound like they were recorded on an old analog equipment, like some sort of military-grade radio, so that it would feel like a message was being sent to the player. So I added some static noise below the voice to give it this radio transmission vibe, and I also applied EQ curves and filtering what was the average human voice range and making it sound more like a broadcasted one.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't hear any of that. Out the commentary, I mean the sound of Alexander Brennan's voice being different. It's cool. Now it sounds like authentic, as if it was actually recorded with like basic equipment, because well, maybe you don't know, maybe you're just seeing the story. I don't know, you're gonna see a lot of things. You don't even hold it. But also one criticism I had from an update for Talos Principle 2 was that the voices of the characters now sound like audio recordings rather than voice acting recordings. So they sound more staticky and more robotic, which I get, like that they are robots, but I don't know, I just like that they had normal voices before, because now it's like they're talking through a radio the entire time, and I just don't like it. It's a nitpick. Well, anyways, what did this say? The female voice that speaks from the abnormalities. It speaks with a different tone to the other wretches in this place. What a call about wretches? Who's wretchy? Who's the wretch? I only know about Alexandra. Who else are you talking about? Are you calling him a wretch? You monster! You absolute buffoon! Also, I hope you can hear my voice correctly. I'm using the PS5's. Well, I'm just using the controller for like the speaker because I'm too lazy to put it on my headphones. Ooh, that's a stretched texture. Wait a minute. Enhance. I can't enhance. Maybe I can enhance in the editing. Zoom. Yep. That's just the texture of trees from above, flat. Anyways, the editing that happened, and yeah, if it did happen, yeah. Sorry about that. Anyways, here is the thing I was looking. Well, not the thing I was looking for before, but the thing. Cool thing. I love this thing. Wait, this new thing. It's on the pedestal now. Last time it was just laying in this corner. Let's hear it.
Sam, have you reached the Sphinx yet? We've translated one of the lines, but we still don't have a solution. It says the true riddle of the Sphinx has many questions, but only one answer.
If now if you know where that is from, that's from Serious Sam 3. Right before Sam blows it up. What do I mean by it? Play the game. Nerd. So I'm not the best of like people that make videos. I'm very lazy and I'm not gonna be like epic like everyone else. But I'll try my best. My very, very best. So I hope I can't get my breath on this thing. Anyways. Okay, no more development there, but I want to check down here. Yeah, I think that Easter egg is just gone. Because the Easter egg like supposed to be here. But it's not. And this is new. This path that goes down here. This path. Wait, is this what the Easter egg was? Why can't I go through? The Easter egg over here. Wait, just don't is not here. Weird. Oh no! Oh, I'm screwed. I can't get back. Okay. Oh, here it is. I found it. So it's up here then. Okay, so I wasn't looking in the wrong spot. I always do this. No! Oh, this is gonna be annoying. This collision is gonna be annoying for some like things I'm gonna try and do. Come on, man. Get realism, let's start. I told you to stop. Here it is, Easter egg. Literally an Easter egg. Would have been fun if I released this video on Easter, but you know, being lazy and all, and working and traveling and you all came for puzzles, so let me go do some puzzles. I don't know if there's more developer commentary done. I mean, there is probably, but I'm not seeing it yet. But let's do this one. Oh, there it is.
After we have invented this jammer device and created the first set of puzzles and play tested them within the team, we know that it is really, we have something really interesting there. But we also knew that we needed more stuff. We needed additional devices to expand the gameplay. When we were thinking about it, we wanted to have something like that could mimic the dynamics of chess, where each piece, each figure has its own unique strengths and weaknesses, especially weaknesses. These abilities actually allow some very interesting, almost endless strategic combinations. So we set up on a search. We started searching for some new, interesting gameplay elements. The breakthrough actually came with the introduction of connectors and the energy lines. And the idea struck me when I saw my son playing a very, very simple mobile game where the goal would be to connect differently colored dots through a maze. So there was a maze, you had like 2 red dots, 2 yellow dots and 2 blue dots, and you would connect them through the maze. It immediately occurred to me that if I would be able to put this concept in 3D, it could be really, really powerful. This is how we came up with the generators, the idea for the generators, receivers, and connectors. And since then, this has become the core element for most of the game's puzzles. We have tried many implementations and approaches to how to implement this, the connector. We even implemented the version where the connector would connect to all available sources. But it was really complicated and uncontrollable, and we discarded it pretty early. But once we have implemented the final version of connectors, we started to design puzzles with both connectors and jammers and plasma doors and whatnot. And we made like another set of 20-30 puzzles for our developers in team to playtest. And that was really amazing. We knew that we were on something. The feedback was overwhelming, and the rest is actually history.
That's good. And I know that specific .game. I'm old. Anyways, not that old. I'm only 35, but still, it's quarter of a century old. So it's the same. Quarter of a freaking century. Anyways, glitch. Next one. I don't think there's any more developer commentary. So let's move. So at least the puzzles are the same. Because otherwise it may be a bit difficult, but I would have liked if there was like a mode you could set that's like you toggle it off and it's like, oh, it changes all the puzzles into new puzzles, or merge the puzzles, so that's something with the puzzles. Man, I can't wait to start goregeously again, because those puzzles I do not remember how to do. Same with like the puzzles in secret area. Anyways, get my Easter egg star. Let me get my stars. If I can see. Where is it? Over there? I couldn't even see that. Oh. Yeah, like I said, hopefully the audio on this controller. Did I even finish my sentence? Anyways, hopefully the audio on this controller is like decent. I think it is. I mean, it's the PS5's default controller mic. So yeah. Also, I have another Easter egg to show. So before I go, did I get anything? I didn't get one thing. I'm getting distracted. I'm distracted. No, I'm not going to promote that. It's funny though. It's not even my place to. No, I'm just gonna take this. The thing I'm talking about, you probably don't know because I took it out. Because I don't know what some people would do to me if they hear me say this. Anyways, let's get the Easter egg. Can you guess what the Easter egg is? It's kitten images! Oh, it's the same one. I thought that was going to be new ones. Look at that kitty. Look at this one. Oh. This one is just nightmare fuel. Anyways, that's this section done. Crazy. Probably never gonna come back yet. Probably. Most of these puzzles are not like I've played this game so many times over. I mean the original many times over. Like I know a bunch of things about this. Even like the exploits of like how to beat the puzzles without actually beating them the correct way. So I think it's going to be impossible for some of them because I already saw that second area, first or second area. But I'll see where I can beat the puzzles. Definitely, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, I played this game so many times. It's like it's definitely one of my most favorite games of all time.